Are we friggin' live yet? I think we're live. I think we're live. Guys, we're having a few technical difficulties since this is the first time that I have gone live. But we're friggin' live now. 10 seconds in. Oh, for fuck's sake, mate. I love technology.
Well, it's working.
Who's saying no audio?
Nope, all good.
Oh, it's all good.
Yeah.
Fucking tech team fucking with me. Oh, guys, apologies for any issues. It's the first time I've gone live, so literally got like screens everywhere, different inputs coming in everywhere. It's a bit of a mad one, and my food has arrived as well. Chris, could you get that from the door? Thank you. So the whole purpose of today is to basically get you all on track for 2026. Spread some wisdom, share some of some issues I've had in the past, what my plan is going to be for this year. There's a lot going on. Everything good, Chris?
OTP.
OTP. Oh, fuck yeah. I've just ordered a lot of stuff from Amazon. So yeah, in the chat, you guys, let me know how everything's going so far. Has it been a good start to the year, or has it been a terrible one? I'll be honest with you, mine has been absolutely terrible. I guess it was out of my control because I got ill. I never get ill. I came back from the UK after a lovely, pleasant time with the family, but it was extremely cold. I did not eat the healthiest of food, obviously, because it's Christmas, and you tend to indulge a little bit. Anyway, came back, caught some friggin' illness, and then I was out of the game for 5 days. It doesn't often happen. So that was 5 days no gym. Great start to the year. Watched the New Year's Eve celebrations from my sofa whilst I was wrapped up in a little cocoon, a duvet cocoon, because I had no energy and I was feeling sorry for myself. So slow start, but your boy's back on track now. 5 green recoveries on Whoop in a row. The strength is back. Everything is good. But it does raise the question, and probably a lot of you guys at some point are going to get sick at some point this year. So whenever you do get ill, my advice would really be just to rest and recover and just be patient, because if you try to push yourself and go to the gym when you're not 100%, you can actually prolong the symptoms and the illness. And then that's the last thing you want, really. Then when you're feeling better, you ease yourself back into it. You're not trying to go to failure. You're not lifting the same weights that you were lifting beforehand. You're just going through the motions, lifting a little bit of resistance, getting your heart rate up. And then after a couple of days of doing that, it should be fine. Who is this absolute pest at the door? Guys, it's kicking off tonight in Dubai. And by the way, it's 9 o'clock. This is Saturday night, 9 o'clock. And I'm staying up late for you guys so I can do this for the next 2 hours. It's going to be a lot of me for the first half hour, 45 minutes, and then we got the big man himself, Kevin Levrone, coming on, who's going to be answering your questions. I've got some more questions which I'm going to ask him, and I think if anyone's going to get you hyped up for the year, he will. Certainly an intense character. If anyone's watched the video I've done with him where we trained legs, I mean, yeah, that was intense. So, let's friggin' crack on with, I got a little bit of a presentation to do. Chris, can we switch the camera? 2026. Is it going to be your year? Is it not? Who knows? I'm going to share with you a couple of lessons which I have from the past year, and I think it's important for everybody to do, whether it's your business, relationships, your career, just your friggin' life. It's always good to reflect upon the previous year and think about the things that went right and the things that didn't necessarily go to plan. And today I want you to think about it and even make notes now whilst you're doing this, and think about the things which didn't necessarily go to plan last year in terms of your physique goals. Okay, so any goals which you had for yourself when you were going to the gym. Maybe you wanted to get to a certain body fat percentage. Maybe you wanted to set a couple of PRs, doing some big compound lifts. Everybody has different goals. Mine, I mean, I maintained my physique, so I'm pretty fucking happy with that, to be honest. But a couple of things which I learned from last year. First of all was the benefits of low volume training. It was something which for almost all of my training career, I'd never really done, because I was always of the mindset of, well, if you go to the gym, you have to just push as hard as possible and try and like squeeze in as much as you can in 1 hour, hour and 15. So I always thought more was better. So after changing up this approach and trying these new splits, which I think I was releasing towards the midpoint of the year and for the rest of the year, everyone who's on the app and has tried the new splits have probably noticed this. Fewer sets, reduced reps, but really focusing on trying to just lift as heavy as possible, okay? And I have noticed that soreness went down, overall energy levels went up, time spent in the gym also went down, and strength massively improved. Strongest at the age of 35. For those that don't know, I'm actually 35 years old. I know I look 25. Some say 45. You know, that's up for debate. But it was quite interesting for me to realize that at this point in my life, when I thought that, you know, things would be on the decline, I'm actually at my strongest. So that's good. What does the future hold? Is there room for me to continue to get stronger? Possibly. A lot of it is down to programming and optimizing myself, the sleep, the nutrition, just being on top of my health. So we'll just see. But I want you guys to think that, oh well, maybe I'm in my late 20s now, or I'm in my early 30s, you know, I'm past my prime. You're definitely not. I'm very intrigued as to what is going to happen with me in the next 5 years. And I'll tell you what, I'll be honest with you guys, like when it gets to the point where things do start to drop off, where I start to get like I have no energy, maybe my lifts are going down, maybe I'm holding on to more fat than I want to, then I might start introducing some chemicals into the system. I actually will, and I would share it with you guys. Okay, but everything is pretty sweet right now. So that's all good. Also, exercise selection is worth pointing out. It's quite apparent that there's just the very fundamental top exercises that just fucking work. And all you have to do is stick with them, get good at them, continue to overload, and you will get results. You could stick with an exercise selection between 10, maybe even 20, just to have them on a heavy rotation, and you can actually build and maintain a fantastic physique. There's no real need to overcomplicate things and do all these fancy, weird exercises that you see on social media. You just don't need to be doing it. Get good at the basics, master form and execution. I mean, you've all seen the way I lift. I lift in a very particular way because I want to make every rep as efficient and effective as possible, right? That I don't want to go to the gym and waste my time and do the execution of exercises at like 60% effectiveness. I want every rep to be the best that it possibly can be, and it certainly makes a difference. And of course, you will reduce the risk of you injuring yourself. Last year, did I have any injury at all? No, injury-free. A few little, I don't know, things with the trap that was going on, but I realized that was predominantly from maybe a few stretches that I wasn't doing, and I was probably sleeping like on my head in my bed, having mad dreams. That was probably the reason behind it. So, my goal, I want to stay injury-free and illness-free. Your lessons from 2025, you're probably watching this video, this live stream of me streaming, and I don't think there's one person who's completely happy with their physique right now, and maybe the way that 2025 went. Maybe there's certain things that you'd want to improve, and maybe you were even close to getting there, but there was something that was holding you back, okay? So write down what went well, and then just think about what maybe didn't go so well. It's usually the common culprits, right? Did you miss gym sessions? Right? Did you plan to go 5 times a week, but maybe you only went twice a week? Maybe that was the case. Maybe, and more commonly, you had little good phases throughout the year where you were on it for a couple of weeks, you were on it for a couple of months, and then something happened and you just fell off. 1 week went by, 2 weeks went by, 3 weeks went by. Oh my God, it's been 2 months and you haven't been to the gym. That can't happen. That literally cannot happen. You can have bad weeks, where maybe you go once or twice in the week. You cannot be having weeks off. Like, that is not the way that muscle is built. It needs to be stimulated. There needs to be resistance applied to muscle for it to grow. Even at my level now, like, I'm pretty much like at my peak. It's really hard for me to get bigger. And I noticed that if I don't keep up with just the absolute bare minimum of what is required from me, I start to lose a little bit of size. If I reduce my leg training frequency from twice a week to maybe once a week or once every 10 days, the intensity drops off a little bit. I just lose size in my legs. Like, there's no need for my body to be holding on to this much mass. So I have to give it a fucking good reason to hold on to it. And you do too. It's quite easy to lose fat, but it's pretty damn hard to build muscle. You have to be really consistent with these efforts that you put in the gym. Next one, poor programming, no tracking. Now, I will admit, you could go to the gym with no plan and just like throw some heavy weights around. Like, you are going to grow, but it comes to a point where you can't get stronger or the physique starts to plateau. And that's usually because, one, you're doing exercises you shouldn't be doing. Maybe you're doing too many reps and sets. And I think more importantly, there's just no tracking. So you go into the gym and you don't know what you've done the previous week. So you're just guessing. You just put in the friggin' pins in different holes, like hoping for the best. Unless you have photographic memory and can remember every single number of the lift that you did in the previous week, then you need to be tracking, okay? And I've noticed there's periods of time throughout the past year where I wasn't following a split on my app because it was like intermediate phases where I was transitioning from one to the other, or I was traveling and I couldn't really follow the program. And I just noticed that the sessions weren't as good, for sure. So any person who's built a sick physique, take for example Dorian Yates, he literally wrote down his little pen and paper every single lift that he'd done throughout his entire career. So I recommend you do that, people. Nights out, alcohol. I know a thing about nights out and alcohol. Let me tell you that. I've been there. I've done it. Done it all. And this is the one thing for me that was holding me back. And to be honest, it's one of the reasons why I think I progressed with my strength in the past year, because I just cut it out fully. It's got to the point now where I'm a lot more confident in myself. I don't feel the need to drink in order to socialize and have a conversation. So when I really weighed up the pros and the cons of the drinking, these are the pros. These are the cons. Now, don't get me wrong, I like to go out and get a little fucked up from time to time. It's fun. But the aftermath is too much. I think that was the last night out I went on where I drank, which was a friend's birthday in October. And I had to, like, everybody was on one, and I kind of owed him this favor, where I was also getting stuck in. And it was a good night. We had a lot of fun. But it took me, I kid you not, probably about 5 or 6 days until I could get back to lifting what I was lifting prior to that night out. And the following few days after that, like, my head was just all over the place, and I wasn't making the smartest decisions when it came to nutrition. It was just a bit of a mess. I can't shake it off like I used to be able to shake it off. I think that's something that's very common as you get older. When you're younger, you seem to just never really get injured or suffer with hangovers. But as you get older, you pay the price. But if your goal this year is to actually sort out your fucking physique, just cut out the drink. Or if you actually have a bit of discipline, you cap it. You go out and you have 2 drinks, right? But most people, I don't know anybody that really has that discipline where they can go out, have 1 or 2 beers and call it a night, right? It usually leads to 5, 6 or 7, and then it's game over. So you can do the nights out, try not to stay out too late, limit the alcohol intake, and crack on. But I would really recommend at this point in time, it's January, no one's really going out, at least for the next 12 weeks, I would say. Try and cut it out completely and see what happens, right? You'll find that life actually isn't that bad and progress is actually really quite rapid. Another one, bad food, cheat meals, right? We all have a little bit of a cheat from time to time. I know I do, still do. But I feel like once you've got to the point where you're happy with your physique and your body composition and your body fat percentage, having a cheat meal actually doesn't do as much damage, and it's actually okay for you to do it time to time. But if you're not at the body fat percentage you want to be, then these cheat meals are going to do damage. They're going to slow your progress. It'll almost take like a full week to get back to where you were beforehand if you're really going in. And I've actually made a video about this, how if you are going to cheat, there's ways to do it where you can limit the damage. So head over to my channel after this, the coaching channel. By the way, if you haven't seen the coaching channel, then what are you playing at? Friends, partners, this one is probably a little bit of a trickier one. You know, if you're easily led astray by your friendship group into making bad decisions that is going to damage your progress and harm, you know, the things that you will be putting into your body, then maybe you may need to change friends or limit the amount of time you spend with them. I think one of the hardest things is being in a relationship where, you know, you just kind of sat on the sofa watching a film. Maybe your partner makes a suggestion of grabbing some ice creams or ordering a pizza, you know. I notice this for sure. A lot of times when I'm in relationships, that is when it is the most tempting to cheat, because it's just nice to cuddle up with your partner and eat shit. It's comforting. So my advice, all you people watching, end your relationships right now. Kick them out your house. Live alone. And then you'll get rid of all the shit in your apartment and you won't have any temptation. You'll just be fully disciplined. Like, that is the key. Only kidding, guys. Don't end your relationship. Keep them going if they're working for you. But try get them on the good habits as well. Otherwise, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Nothing worse than you being on a diet and watching your partner shove a load of Maltesers in her mouth. It's not the one. And then last one, poor sleep and stress. So, poor sleep. I mean, it's probably one of the most underrated and most boring things to talk about. Nobody likes to get lectured on how they should have more sleep. But you'll be surprised how fucking effective it's going to be, right? Especially if you're trying to cut. You'll actually be able to lose more body fat if you got an extra 2 hours sleep. Let's say, for example, if you're only getting 6 hours sleep, if you got an extra 2 hours sleep, it's going to be so much easier for you to lose body fat because of all the hormone production, your stronger willpower the following day, so many other things. So really do prioritize your sleep. Some people don't need to. Some people just sleep like a baby. And for those guys, fuck you. I'm jealous of you. Like, I want that ability. Sometimes it's hard for me to fall asleep when my head hits the pillow. I'm just thinking about, like, literally everything that could possibly come into my mind at that point. So I'm working on it, but it's not too bad. Stress, I don't feel like I'm a very stressed person. I feel like life is too short to stress about anything. We're just on this planet for a temporary period of time in a giant galaxy, which is part of billions of galaxies in a massive universe. So, you know, any problems that we're struggling with right now really aren't that important, to be honest. So, shall I share with you my goals? I'll share with you some of my goals, you know, since we're all here sharing goals and all that. So my first one is to optimize my health because according to my doctor, I'm going to die next week. No, I'm only kidding. I'm pretty healthy, I would say, but there's always room for improvements. And you know, when you get to the age of 35, you're looking to optimize things a little bit more because I just want to continue to do everything I'm doing now for as long as possible. You know, the thought of me not being able to go to the gym and lift heavy weight literally freaks me the hell out. I do not want that to happen. I've seen people get old and I don't like when people get old and ill and sick. So I don't want that to happen with me. So everything I'm doing right now is like insurance policies to try and prevent anything like that potentially happening when I'm older. So you'll see me hanging around with a load of biohackers this year, more so than last year, because I want to get in their brains and see what all the new tips and tricks are to really optimize your health. You know, not only do I want to perform in the gym and look great, but also just feel great. There is no better feeling than waking up, feeling pumped, full of energy, ready for the day, and maintaining those energy levels throughout the day. You know, every single thing in your life just improves if you can be at that level. Your work, your concentration, relationships with people, performance in the gym, like literally everything is massively improved. So that's one of my goals. Next one is to maintain a leaner look. Now, maybe some of you guys are thinking, Mike, you've friggin' lost your head. You're already lean. What the fuck is wrong with you? Look, I am quite lean. Like, I'll give you that. But I probably spend the majority of the year around 15% body fat, right? It's probably, it doesn't look like that because of lighting and because I actually built quite a lot of muscle mass that it doesn't actually look like I'm that fat. And my fat is distributed quite well around my body. Like I don't have too much around my abs, which is why it looks like I'm leaner, to be honest. But what I did towards the end of last year, I was kind of a little bit more curious about getting stronger. Like my goal was, let me see how far I can push this whole strength thing. So of course, with doing that, there was more calories than usual. I actually managed to get up to 100 kilograms, which had not been done for a very long time. But I was able to do that at looking leaner than the previous time I was 100 kilograms, so that was good. So for the last third of last year, I was definitely like a little bit, pudgy is not the right word, I would say just not as lean as usual. So moving forward, I want to try and maintain more of a more athletic, what's the fucking right word? Just leaner, to be honest, but also to maintain that strength. It's going to be hard because you're trying to do both lower body fat percentage, but maintain the strength. Like eventually one thing is going to have to give, but everything is just better when you're leaner, right? So I'm probably talking around like 12. We're going to bring it down from 15% to 12%, 11, 12%. Going sub 10 is difficult. Okay, getting there is doable, but staying there is probably the hardest thing, right? It's anyone who's actually been sub 10% knows that like everything is just more difficult. The gym is more difficult. You can't lift as heavy. Maybe the cravings is going to be higher, and you have to be a lot more dialed with the nutrition. So there's that. Improve my sleep. As I said, I'm not the worst sleeper. According to Whoop right now, my average is at 7 hours and 7 minutes, and that's pretty good. But throughout the year, there's been highs and lows when it's come to average sleep. I think the worst was when it got to like 6 hours and 15 minutes. And that was predominantly because of, I think, a lot of traveling, sleeping in different beds, switching time zones, and maybe a few other things as well. So I want to try and keep the average at least 7. Okay, so basically the biggest thing I think is just making sure that you go to sleep at a certain time. It's very easy, especially in this friggin' city, to stay up all night because there's loads of things to do. So you have to be very disciplined with going to bed at a certain time. Fun fact, when I went back to Leeds for Christmas, there was like literally nothing going on in the evening. Like my family lived in Roundhay. So it was just so quiet outside. And I was just like falling asleep before 11 o'clock and getting over 8 hours sleep every single night, which was a mad one. But I think that on top of that was the fact that I wasn't worrying about work, and I was going to bed with a very satisfied belly. So that could have contributed to it as well. Oh, these are probably two of the ones I'm going to struggle with the most. Working on cardiovascular health. So it's quite funny how you can look super fit, but not necessarily be the best when it comes to optimizing endurance. Okay, my endurance is not great. Now, does having a better endurance improve your life? Maybe not so much, but in terms of overall health, yes, certainly. In the bedroom, yeah, that probably helps as well. So what I'm going to try and do is at least once a week, do a high intensity interval training session, okay? So this would be a short but extremely intense cardiovascular type training just for training my heart, okay? It's not for burning calories or trying to get myself leaner, because to be honest, just walking will do a better job of getting you leaner than doing, 6 to 10 minutes of HIIT training. So there's that. You guys got to keep me accountable, right? If you haven't seen me post any cardio related stuff, then you can give me some shit, like openly. Send me a DM or like leave me a comment. Be like, Mike, haven't seen you do any cardio lately. What's going on there? And then on top of that, the daily stretching. Again, probably, I do it, but it's extremely inconsistent. And the stretching, again, does this have any real direct link to your aesthetics? Dropping body fat, improving body composition? No, but again, it's an insurance policy. The insurance policy so that you don't get injured. You can lift with a better range of motion, and also to fix any imbalances. Usually imbalances come from just being a little bit, messed up. Usually one side is tighter than the other. Maybe one hip is tighter than the other. And when that builds up over time, you end up having like one quad bigger than the other quad, or like one bicep bigger than the other shoulder. Like everything's just all a mess. And of course, if you don't fix it, then it just continues to get worse and worse. And your body just looks weird. Okay, so usually it is down to being tight and not stretching. So this next point, raising your standards. I was thinking about this the other day because I gave a talk to a room full of entrepreneurs for this company called Coke Cop. Right, so this room was full of people who were making millions of dollars per year, absolutely killing it. And it made me think, how are these people so good at business and making money? But why, like, some of them are in shape, but a lot of them were just not in shape. And why is that? Because they're not dumb, they're clever. And I realized it's standards, okay? So when I looked at all the people in the room, they have standard when it comes to running their business, operating their business and making money. Like, it's up here. Like, they will not settle for less, okay? They have to be earning a certain amount of money. Their business has to be performing and hitting all these targets. But those people who are struggling with their physique and going to the gym do not have those same standards when it comes to their own health and well-being and their physique, okay? One thing which I've realized I have had for many areas of my life is fucking high standards, right? I know what I should be maintaining. I know how I should be living my life and what I deserve because I have high standards for myself. I don't allow my standards to slip. So you will notice from time to time, well, you probably don't notice, but I notice this. When I've got myself in great shape, I keep setting the bar higher and higher because I know what I'm capable of, and it becomes the new standard. So whenever I get lazy or complacent, maybe I'm not pushing quite as hard in the gym, maybe I miss a few sessions, even though it's rare, it's usually the diet side of things, the nutrition side of things. If I slip up, I overeat, I don't eat the right things, the body composition changes, I get a little bit fatter, and when I look in the mirror, I realize like I've dropped my standard. I'm not meeting the expectations that I've set for myself. So I go and sort it out and I get back to where I was beforehand, okay? So you need to ask yourself, like, what are your standards for yourself? Like, what are you gonna tolerate? If you look in the mirror, you're not happy with the way you look, it's probably because you've accepted it and you're happy with it, right? If I look in the mirror and I was to be out of shape and fat, I would be so disappointed in myself. And I would get myself straight into the gym and on a good routine so I could get to the point where I look in the mirror and I'm proud of what I see when I take all my clothes off, okay? So that should be not only with the gym, your physique, but everywhere in life, where you live. Like, are you happy with where you live? Are you happy with the relationship you're in? Are you happy with the job you have? Are you happy with the amount of money you're making? If you are, then all right, fine. You probably set yourself low standards. Up the standards everywhere in life, including your physique. So, the essentials. You've heard me talk about this quite a bit. I mean, this list could be quite long, but I'm really trying to just keep it as simple as possible. And if you do these things, I think it will have the greatest effect on everything when it comes to your physique, okay? So the first one, the gym, right? I would say to all you guys, just have the goal of going at least 3 times per week. If you're the type of person that goes 4 times, 5 times a week, then that's fantastic, okay? You've already smashed that one. You've ticked it. But some people, those people that tend to be quite inconsistent, are the ones that struggle, okay? So just set yourself the goal of going at least 3 times a week. If you go to the gym 3 times per week, every single week, that's 156 sessions per year, which is actually quite a lot. And that is all you need, assuming that you're training properly, following the program and so on. That's enough to actually get a decent physique. Next one, follow a program and track the lifts, okay? Sounds boring, doesn't sound like it's that effective, but trust me, it's effective, right? You don't have to go into the gym and think about, well, which should I do today? Like, which muscle group should I train? Which exercises should I do? It's all there out in front of you. You don't have to stress about it. You don't have to waste energy thinking about it. You just go and do what you know you're supposed to do. You've got the lifts from the previous week, so you know that you need to improve upon them in some way, shape, or form, okay? Next one, minimize consumption of processed foods. I would say if you do this properly, the need for you to track and weigh out all your food and so on becomes less necessary. I'll tell you why. When you cut out all the crap and you just eat food in its natural state, it's a lot easier for you to eat intuitively. Your body is going to be a lot better at sending signals to your brain as to whether or not it wants more food or it's actually satisfied. The moment you start having all these processed foods, particularly the processed sugars, your body just wants more. Like you cannot think properly because all these scientists that have made these foods have tricked your body to just eating as much as possible. Okay? So cut it out. Now, I'm not expecting you to try and eliminate every single processed food from your diet because that's unrealistic, and even I don't do that. But change the percentages, right? Okay, if you can just eat 80% of your foods that are in its natural state, as in like, okay, this is a piece of meat or this is a friggin' vegetable, like that's good, okay? Once you've done that, it's okay if you have a little bit of processed stuff on the side. It's not gonna kill you, hopefully, but really try and eliminate it as much as possible. I think I've mentioned this loads of times before. Tracking is worth doing if you're just really not seeing results and you're frustrated, okay? But if you are seeing the results, there's not a necessity for you to track. But you need to learn and do it at least once for a couple of weeks because you learn so much about the food which you're consuming and whether or not you are actually eating what you were eating. Most people, when they track, they realize, oh, I wasn't eating enough protein, or maybe I was overdoing it with the fats that I was consuming. And then, you know, all of a sudden they start tracking and they're consistent with the tracking and then, oh, their body starts changing the composition and they lose body fat. So I recommend doing that. The sleep again, if you're getting 7 hours of sleep, that's good. Anything less, really try and work on it. And the last one, 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, right? That is from all the, like, in the past year, there's people I've spoken to who are experts in the field when it comes to training, longevity, body recomposition specialists. They've all come to the conclusion that this is a sound target to aim for, which is quite funny because back in the day I used to preach 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight, which is quite a lot. And it can be quite daunting for somebody who doesn't eat that much protein to then all of a sudden have to think, oh shit, I've had 2.2 grams kilogram? That's a lot. 1.6, you're good, okay? So, I'm going to move on to the aesthetic blueprint in a moment. Do we have any questions, Christoph? We probably do have quite a lot of questions.
Haven't been sent to the chat yet.
Haven't what?
Haven't been sent to the chat. But lots of people said, is this really live? They're like wondering if this really...
What do they want me to do to prove that this is live? Maybe if some fireworks go off, like literally on the dot when they're scheduled to go off, then they'll know. So yeah, if you've got any questions, let me know. Guys, if you've got any questions, ask them. Because I will have a very short period of time which I can actually answer them because Big Kev is coming on shortly.
Tell us the time and date, simple mate.
Tell them what, the time and the date.
Time and the date, yeah.
Fucking hell, does he want to get my phone out? God, who are these weird people? He's not going live. 20, well, can you see that? 21:36. 21:36, Saturday, 10th of January.
Went dark.
We're live, you motherfuckers. Anyway, continue the yap session. Okay, yeah, sure. So what I put together is an aesthetic blueprint, right? This is a 12-week program, which is literally the only thing that you will need to actually get you the results, okay? So my recommendation, as always, we put it into the days which you will realistically be going to train, okay? If you want to go to the gym 3 times per week, that's fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Going 4 or 5 times is also fine, of course. 3 days versus 5 days, what's the rate of progress going to be like if you go 5 days versus 3 days? Probably a little bit more. But if you're tired, you've got a mad schedule, and there's some days that you don't put in the effort, then maybe pull back to 4 days, right? So, phase one, it's split into 2 phases. This is the first time I've done this because usually the splits in my app are 5 weeks, but I've extended it to 6 weeks per phase, okay? 2 phases. These are all brand new. So for 5 days, push, pull, legs, upper, lower. 4-day, upper, lower, upper, full body. 3-day, upper, lower, full body. The way that I've done that, each muscle group is going to be trained at least twice per week. If you want to maximize the rate of muscle growth, it should be trained 2 to 3 times per week. Once a week is not going to be enough, okay? Don't care what your favorite fitness influencer says, it's facts, right? So again, you shouldn't really be skipping leg day at all. You should be training your legs at least twice per week, okay? The more leg mass you have, the faster your metabolism. The more calories you're going to burn on a day-to-day basis just from moving around. So you got to fuel these bad boys. And then on top of that, your life expectancy is directly correlated to the amount of muscle mass that you have in your legs. That's a fact. That's come out, that study recently. So don't skip leg day, people. So if you guys are already on the app, and I know some of you are because you're absolute legends, this split is now live, the Aesthetic Blueprint. If you're not on the app, I'm watching you, okay? Next point, oh my goodness. Bulking is dead, right? Bulking is dead. Nobody should be doing these silly bulks anymore. If you're the person who, on a day-to-day basis, is in a calorie surplus of over 200, 300, 400, 500 calories, do you know what's going to happen? You're going to get fat, pal. And when you're fat, you don't look as good. It's actually less efficient when it comes to building muscle. And then guess what? It gets to the point where you're so fat that you need to do a cut. Nobody likes doing a cut. And I've done many videos before where I've talked about how when you're doing a cut, you're in a deficit, it's way harder for you to build muscle. In fact, almost impossible, where you'll just actually lose muscle tissue. So, bulking isn't the one. Studies have come out, more studies in the previous year. You can maximize muscle growth. It only requires a surplus of less than 100 calories per day. Okay, so less than 100 calories. Between maintenance, less than 100 calories, okay, obviously it's quite hard to hit that sweet spot, but that's actual facts. You just need to be in a tiny little surplus. Even at maintenance, like if you're more of a beginner, you can build muscle, right? Eating more does not directly correlate to speeding up the muscle building process. So you shouldn't be getting fat. There's no need for you to get fat. I actually look back at my entire lifting career. I've never once gone fat. I've never done an extended bulk. Of course, I've gone through periods of times where I've eaten more, but that's purely just because I've been a lazy shit. So you don't need to bulk. Okay, if you're just consistent with going to the gym and eating enough, eating the right things, you build muscle. But it's just a slow process. So you just got to be patient. Patience, people. Patience. So I think this is a great slide, because one of the biggest questions I get asked is, well, what the hell am I supposed to do? I don't know where I should start, or like, what is the best course of action for me? Realistically, you have 3 options. Most people have 3 options. You either do a body recomposition, you either do a cut, or you go through maintenance growth periods, right? Most people who are unhappy with their physique, usually the people who've been incredibly inconsistent or are relatively at the beginner stage of their career, they're not that like fat, but they're fat. They got like puppy fat everywhere and don't have a huge amount of muscle mass. Okay, so it makes no sense for them to cut. You can't and should not be cutting if you don't have a significant amount of muscle mass to begin with. And you shouldn't be bulking, like we've said beforehand, because if we take this little individual here, if this guy goes on a bulk, he's getting more fat. And we don't want that because he's already like fat enough. Shouldn't be that fat. So body recomposition. Body recomposition is where you can simultaneously build muscle and lose body fat. And it is possible, okay? Not necessarily for everybody, but for most people, You can do it at the same time. Next one, cut. Who should be cutting? Now, this individual here, he's pretty jacked. Like, he's clearly been training for a while. He's built a decent amount of muscle mass, but he's got, especially around his belly and belly button, he's got quite a lot of fat. This guy's probably at 20% body fat, maybe even more. So this person can actually do a cut and can go through a deficit because they already have an existing amount of muscle tissue. And to be honest, to get to that point, this guy was probably putting away quite a few calories, right? He didn't get there by accident. So if somebody, for example, has been consuming, on average, 3,000 calories per day, it's absolutely fine for them to start a cut and start pulling away their calorie intake. Not going straight to 2,500, but just very gradually, maybe pulling away 100 a week. 2,900 one week, 2,800 another week. There's actually no real need to change it until you've got to the point where fat loss stalls. And then you would reduce the calorie intake again to the point where, you know, for me, I don't really like to go more lower than 2,500 calories. I just like to eat food. I think that's one of the reasons why I'm able to maintain my frame. So this simultaneous drop in calories with then increasing your calorie expenditure is going to be a winning formula. So doing more cardio, doing more walking, low intensity steady state cardio. And the last one, option 3. I mean, look at this guy. Like, I'm pretty sure we'd all be pretty happy with that. I know I would be. Well, I probably am at that. So yeah, I'm pretty fucking happy, to be honest. So for this person, you don't really need to do anything apart from maintaining it. Now, obviously, maintaining it in itself requires a fair amount of work. But if they wanted to, they could maybe try and push it a little bit further and look to grow. So for this individual, if they did want to get bigger, maybe they wanted to grow their legs, or I don't know, he looks pretty good, to be honest. You would just be at slightly above maintenance levels. Keep an eye on the scales. Make sure that you're not putting on too much weight too quickly. And then you're in a position where you could realistically continue to see growth and not get too fat, okay? So hopefully that's been useful for you and made things a little bit clearer. There should really only be these 3 options. You do not need to be bulking, okay? Right, where we at? 45 minutes, nice. Kevin coming on in 15 minutes. A couple questions, yes, why not?
What can I do before bed to help me sleep?
Jerk off. No, the actual, it can help though to have sex, but you know, not everybody's laying in bed with a fine Latina. So what I would recommend is the usual boring protocol, okay? You put the phone away at least an hour before the time you want to go to bed. Put it in your drawer, put it somewhere that you're not going to be scrolling. It's the stimulation of the mind close to going to bed which can mess you up, right? So I'm not against completely like watching TV or screens, because sometimes when I watch TV before bed, like I literally fall asleep. Okay, obviously you don't want it to be too stimulating. Cut off the screens, eliminate any caffeine or stimulating substances that you might put in your body. I would say don't have any after 1 or 2 p.m. Depends how quickly you metabolize it. Dim the lights in your apartment. Don't have any bright lights. Even when you go to brush your teeth, try and keep the lights dimmed, right? So you're walking around in the dark a little bit, like brushing your teeth and doing everything you need to do. And you know, there's some tactics people use, maybe a bit of breath work, maybe journaling, writing down all of the thoughts that you have for the day, just having a bit of a mental brain dump, and just keeping things chill. If that is a problem for you, then you might need to look into it a little bit deeper.
What daily habit gave you the biggest return in confidence, health, and discipline?
Going to the gym. Confidence, health, and discipline. God, this guy wants it all, doesn't he? It has to be going to the gym. It has to be, yeah. That's the one major main habit. Maybe after this call it'll hit me, but I'm doing something else. But I feel like just that having some sort of structure and ensuring that you do the things that you know you need to do. Okay, it could be meal prep, right? That could be the thing which helps you stay on track. Fortunately, I'm in a position where I have access to great food and I can afford it. So I get everything delivered to my apartment. So I don't need to worry about food. It's not stress. It's nothing that I need to worry about. I know every day I'm getting the food I should be eating, and I'm sticking with my macros. Okay, so yeah.
Is this only for men, or could women do the same routine?
Women can do the same thing. Yeah. Surprisingly, maybe it is a surprise or not, but men and women should really be training the same. The approach should not really change at all. The only thing that would change is maybe the exercise selection. So for example, if you're a female, you want to do this program. If there's a trap exercise, because I've got you guys doing some trap focused movements, I maybe wouldn't get a female doing a trap focused exercise because women don't necessarily want big traps. So if you're a female and there's maybe an exercise or muscle group you don't want to train because it's already pretty dominant, replace it with another one which is going to be focusing on a muscle group that you want to bring up. And this applies to everyone, okay? I've given you the protocol and the framework and the exercises you should be doing to have a balanced physique, but some people don't necessarily have this perfectly proportioned physique, in which case they should maybe be doing less of certain exercises and more of other exercises. If you take me, for example, the way that I trained for a very long period of time, got to the point where I had a very developed chest, but the chest was actually outshining a lot of other muscle groups. So would it make sense for me to hit my chest as often as I would be hitting a lagging muscle group? No. So what does that mean? I just train it less frequently. So maybe I'd pull out a chest exercise that I would do and maybe bringing another exercise that would be building a muscle group that I'm not particularly happy with. So I'm happy for you to switch around exercises where applicable. Of course, if you don't have access to a particular machine I want you to do, I've given you my best 2 alternatives which you should do. But if you want to hit another muscle group, switch it to another muscle group. There's nothing wrong with that. So ladies, get involved.
Does age affect the effectiveness of diet and training exercises if you're over 30, 40, 50 years old?
Yes. So age, how is age going to impact everything? This is actually something we're going to go into a lot more detail tomorrow with Ben Pakulski, because he's literally an absolute don and expert at this. He has protocols for men and women over 40. Okay, so I've not hit the point where I'm over 40 yet, so I'm yet to experience it. But for most people, you're just going to notice everything just gets a little bit harder. Okay, to maintain the lowest levels of body fat gets a lot harder. You have to work your ass off. To build muscle tissue, I'd say still fine. Like, I don't think the rate of muscle growth is necessarily going to slow too much. But I think one thing that may be a factor is the need for warming up becomes more important. The risk of injury probably gets a little bit higher. You can't be doing these mad things that you were doing in your 20s. So it's harder. You have to be more strict. You just can't get away with doing some of the things you do in your 20s, like having a big cheat meal or eating garbage food. It sets you back so much more. It impacts your gut a whole lot more. So it sucks. For me, what I've noticed is just when I eat bad food, like, I feel like I could eat anything in my 20s and I'd be fine. Like now I eat certain foods and I either like bloat or just can't stop farting, or like makes me look terrible. Causes a lot of inflammation, right? If you're the type of person and you've got like a puffy face, you don't know why you got a puffy fat face. It's because you're retaining a lot of water. And it's usually inflammation caused by eating foods which are not agreeing with you. Like your body's reacting to it. And it's also because you've maybe gone to bed with a very full stomach and you're still digesting a lot of your food. And all the food that's been digested, it's not going down due to gravity, so it's just like going in your friggin' face.
Is too much protein bad?
No. I don't think it would. It would have to be a really, really high dose of protein for you to be overloading your kidneys. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with over consuming protein. It's not a problem. I think maybe there's some doctors somewhere that'd be like, oh, it's bad for you. It's not bad for you. Your body just processes it and it's absolutely fine. But yeah, if you're consuming like over 250, 300 grams, that's not necessary. So we got more questions coming. Keep them coming, guys. I'm enjoying this. I do want to very quickly just talk about what's going on for the next 12 weeks. Now, this is for either new people or existing users to the app. I think I've realized probably one of the hardest things that people struggle with is the consistency, and there's no accountability. And of course, the one-to-one coaching which I used to offer, I don't offer anymore because it's just, do I really have the capacity to be dealing with thousands of people on a one-to-one basis? No. But I do want weekly check-ins, okay? I want you guys to get motivated and pumped and to learn from me and to also have check-ins when you're doing this 12-week program. I feel like every week we need to reflect, we need to assess what worked, what didn't work, how do we plan for the following week so that we're going to see continued progress. And I think mostly it's going to be challenging to understand how to manipulate the diet and the nutrition on a week-to-week basis to ensure continued progress. The training doesn't really have to change too much at all. You just try and lift a little bit heavier each week. But the frequency of the cardio and the manipulation of the nutrition, macros, how much food you eat, you're going to need some assistance. And who's going to be good at that? Me. So what I'm offering you guys on this call, subscribers, non-subscribers, we got a special deal. First time ever, I'm going to be doing these weekly calls, okay, which you can be a part of, right? So if you want to follow this program, you want to have the weekly calls with myself where you have the opportunity to ask me questions, to get fired up, to learn more, to stay on track with everything. And of course, on top of that, like today and tomorrow, I'm going to be having special guests. So it's almost going to be like an exclusive private podcast conversation which you guys can listen to and also take part in and ask questions, okay? And obviously with my network, the access that I have to people, of course I'm going to have some friggin' top tier guests on. So that is going to be available now, either for people who've not signed up to the app. If you've not signed up to the app, then now is the best time to do it. It's called the Coaching Accelerator. You will have access to the app for 1 year. You'll get access to the calls, all the programs, all the tracking, nutritional support, and the network, okay? So this is the offer available to you right now, which I highly suggest you take advantage of. And for those people who are already subscribers, you don't need to cancel your subscription and sign up again. There's going to be an option for you to just upgrade your current subscription to have access to this. But it's going to be a game changer, people. This is something I've not offered for a very, very long time. And I think it will be one of the best things to help you guys stay on track and to maintain that consistency. So check it out now, guys. Any other questions before Big Kev comes?
Yes. What's your daily supplements also for longevity?
Oh, I mean, to be honest, we probably need to do a separate video for that. My main supplement, protein powder of the highest quality, creatine monohydrate. We also have the Bionic, I mentioned this before. These are the customized supplements done through Swiss-made company based off a blood test, which I do every 4 months. So the recent blood test I did last December, I have a new batch of supplements made. There's a couple of deficiencies which I have, which have cropped up. Usually it tends to crop up a little bit at this time of the year when I get a little bit less sunlight and so on because of the seasons. So that takes care of all the micronutrients and tackles any deficiencies which I may have. And then on top of that, I have my omega-3 fish oils, 4 of them a day. I have my organ meat supplements. Okay, so one thing that's lacking in my diet is I don't eat organ meat. So of course, I need to supplement on top of that. And then we may be experimenting with some peptides this year. Maybe, but I'll keep you up to date with that and how it goes and whether I survive it. So, yes. Is Kevin on? Kevin is here. Guys, if you have any questions for Kevin, ask them in the chat. I already have some which you guys have asked from the little Q&A we did on my Instagram, and then I have some other questions I would also like to ask him as well. Is his audio on?
Hey, Mike, can you hear me?
Can you hear me, Kev?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, I can.
Excellent.
How you doing?
Good to see you. Doing great, man. Good to see you. Happy New Year.
You too. Everyone is obviously very excited to see you in action again and to listen to our conversation and for them to ask some questions of their own. But have you, just curiously, are you staying put for now, or are you on the move? Because I know you've got a mad schedule.
Yeah, I'm home at the moment. Just got in 48 hours ago. I was in Poland for a while. But yeah, I'm home. Well, when I say home for a while, that means probably about 3 or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
My next phase is I got to go to Mexico next month. So
Good stuff.
yes.
What have you set any goals for this year in terms of your physique? Because I know last update I saw, and we all saw on social media, the physique was looking pretty good. The abs were popping.
Yeah, right. Mike, I was just thinking about it. I'm thinking about doing like a mini marathon.
Oh.
Yeah, I want to start off with a 5K, and eventually probably work my way up to about 20 miles, right? Um, Going to that whole pushing the boundaries of something that I've never done before, just challenging my body, but also challenging the mind to do something, to step outside of the comfort zone, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I've never done that. Being a competitive bodybuilder, we've been so focusing on size,
Yeah.
right? So now, like, I just I'm inspired by what I see Goggins doing. Of course,
Yeah.
it's phenomenal. Whether it's all about finishing. When you set those um, goals, it's about just finishing, right? So, and I've never been a runner. I've never been a long distance runner, and that's something that I want to try. I feel like it's time to step out of the comfort zone and to give that a shot.
Yeah. It's funny because I was on this call earlier talking about my goals for this year. And one of those things that I want to do at least once a week is just some form of activity that's really pushing myself and working on my cardiovascular health. Because like you, as we discussed, it's like the majority of my training is purely for size. And I've gotten good at that. It's not really hard for me to go to the gym and lift weights because I love it. So what is challenging for me and what is going to put me in this place of discomfort? And it's the cardio of some sort. Something that like is relatively new and something which personally I just find it really boring.
Yeah, I mean, it's only like cardio on the treadmill, right? I mean,
Is that hard? Yeah.
unless you're sprinting, like how can you really make it challenging, right?
Yeah.
Uh, in the gym, right? You're lifting weights and everything. It's so much more left to experiencing the untouchable challenges that we haven't done, and we feel uncomfortable about it as we're doing it. So it's all about pushing those limits, man. And I think this year is going to be that year for me, 2026, pushing the limit.
Do you have any concern that doing more of the running / marathon training, that it will have an impact on muscle mass maintenance, or do you really just not care at this stage?
I could care less. I could care less, Mike, because I've had enough muscle mass to last a lifetime.
Yeah.
That's behind me now, and I'm not trying to carry the past forward.
Yeah, yeah.
We have to realize that we in order to grow, we have to evolve and we have to change.
Hmm.
You know, and I always see a lot of my people, colleagues, still stuck in the same place,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But life is about growth. It's about challenging yourself. It's about because you don't know unless you really, really challenge yourself, challenge your just get out of the comfort zone and make it happen.
Mm.
Interesting, you say that. So your main residence is where?
Dubai.
So, and it's extremely hot.
Uh,
Yeah.
Now it's actually pretty cool. So it's only really going to start to get hot, I would say April onwards. From April till end of October, if you want me to go outside and run, I would say no, thank you.
Well, you're going to have to do that, though. I mean, is that something that you're going to take on?
Well,
I think I would love to see you do that. Like that would be because you've never done that before.
no, no.
Tie the rag around your head, pull the shirt off, and just do it, man.
Yeah.
Out there. The scenery would be great.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would be complete inspiration. It would really be inspirational to see you do something like that.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I think I had a friend who, I think this at some point in February or March, he's invited me to go to like Dagestan and basically train with these absolute horrible, intense people for 1 week, and yeah, almost have a bit of a reset, just
Yeah.
mentally pushing ourselves for a week, which, to be
Mhm.
honest, scares the crap out of me a little bit, but I know coming out of that, I would probably be a completely different person, an extremely disciplined person after doing something like that.
Well, what's your fears when you say discomfort? You've never
Yeah,
done
just,
it.
I mean, no, nothing on that level. Like, and it's one of those things here, living in Dubai, you get so complacent and used to a very comfortable life. And even to the point where you become so smart with the training that you don't actually need to be killing yourself in the gym to get to this physique that you want. So if I looked at my life on a day-to-day basis and think about all the really, truly hard things I have to do, it's like, there's actually not a whole lot, I don't think. So you're right, like it would be, I think it's good for everyone. But it's trying to find the thing for me that would be the most uncomfortable thing for Mike Thurston to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever ran outside before, or like 5 miles or
I've done
anything?
I've done 5K. Like I've done 5K a couple of times, and to be honest, that's a piece of cake. But if we're talking 10
Yeah.
kilometers, okay, that's now we're pushing it territory. Anything longer than that, I simply can't imagine. I did used to do cross country when I was a kid, so I used to do the marathon stuff. But this was obviously when I was young and I was quite skinny at the time. So now I'm going to be looking around.
Do they have runners? Do they have these kind of races in
Yeah.
or
There's run
in
clubs.
Dubai?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I would love to see you do something like that. That would be you're young. You're young.
Yeah.
You don't have any bone issues. You don't have any pain issues.
Yeah.
Make it happen, man.
Yeah. Okay, you've challenged me.
Make it happen. I'm gonna start off with a 5K
When was the last time you
and
did
then 10
when was the last time you did 5K?
when I was on the treadmill.
Okay. Yeah.
But that don't count.
No.
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 So never.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
So that's a start for me. That's going to be one of my New Year's I don't want to say New Year's resolution, but it's going to be a goal for me this year, 2026. And for the listeners out there, it's like that's one thing that kept me motivated as a bodybuilder is pushing the limits, and that's why I never worked out all year round. I said, you know what? Let me wait till it's 4 months to get ready for the Mr. Olympia, and really, really, really back myself up against the wall, and then that way you have no choice
Mm-hmm.
but to train 100% and do everything and play catch up, right?
Yeah.
And you just have to set those challenging moments for yourself mentally. I know that's how I was programmed. And to keep it exciting, to keep it challenging, and to not let it go stale, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's interesting because you've been able to go through that cycle where you could have an extended period of time off and then get it all
Hmm.
back in quite a short period of time. Like not many people can do that. And early in this call, when I've spoken to people listening, I have preached the importance of the consistency, and the whole process of building muscle it's a slow process. It's something that requires efforts every week. So would you say that there are people that can get away with maybe not training for these periods of time and having a bit of time off, or maybe doing something different? Or would you say, you should be doing something every week at least?
It all depends what it is you want to do with your body.
Yeah.
It all depends. Before I turned pro, I was in the gym every day for 2 years straight,
Mm.
you know, every single day. But you have to find out what works best for you mentally to keep your brain stimulated. And that's one thing that I realized, that going through the same thing every single day, waking up, eating, sleeping, just it became monotonous. It became very, very boring. Then okay, Olympia's coming up, blah 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 blah. There was no change. So unless you make that change and make those challenging yourself, then it's going to get very, very boring. Like any relationship with work or anything, you do the same thing every single day the same way,
Mm.
you're going to be burnt out and bored with it. So for me, I had to figure out what would keep my interest in being able to compete at a competitive level. Now, for me, that's what worked. Other guys, enjoy training year in the same thing, and they're still doing the same thing now, long after it's retired. They're still doing the same thing, but they can't get out of graduating, moving to the next level in life, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So it's pros and it's cons.
I guess it's looking at a way to try and gamify the process as well, like turning things into a game. Like I remember sometimes when, I mean, this was a while ago, where I struggled with that intensity and discomfort whilst doing a particular exercise, particularly legs.
Mhm.
When it started to get nasty, I'd want to shy away from it. But then I'd be like, hang on, let me actually see how much of this discomfort I can tolerate. Like, let me see if I can really push myself to do another couple of reps, where
Yeah,
I'm trying to be more playful with it instead of getting scared by it and wanting to run away.
yeah. Who wants to get up and go to the work to the same job and sit behind the same desk every single day?
Mm.
It's boring. It's boring. That's when you and I did that training session, and you were like, "Hey, Kev, be a guest and come on and do this." I said, what can I do to stimulate his brain, to stimulate the audience, to just show them something different, and still have it be taxing and effective and interesting, right?
Hmm.
And we used the stick. We didn't use no weight, and it was amazing. You know. First, I want to say thanks, man, for just stepping out into a area that you didn't know where it was going to go. It and doing that,
Hmm.
because as fitness bodybuilding, again, they're so stuck in the same thing, that they feel uncomfortable, or they don't even want to challenge or do something different. And when you were like, okay, man, yeah, yeah, definitely. And then I said, you know what, this guy's different. He's different, and that's why you have captured the audience that you have, because you're all for a change. And life is change. We have to figure out in life how to adapt to, because everyday life is different. You wake up one day and you get some bad news. I woke up one day and my father was dead, and we have to adapt. I woke up one day and you know uh I got fired from. I remember I used to have a job. I got fired from that job. It's like you have to adapt, right?
Yeah.
So being able to not only adapt into the gym, but adapt to what affects you daily, how things affect you, and how you perceive and take on them things and make those adjustments. And when I saw you going through that, I was like, wow, that was it. It was inspirational. Thank you for allowing me to have those moments with you, and it was very exciting. And more than anything, it was yeah, it was just a challenging moment that within our challenges we find strength, right?
Mm.
So that was cool, man. And I think yes, I learned a lot more about you. I said, you know what, this guy's cool. We have a lot of similarities as far as how we think and being able to take on challenge, but also take on whatever's thrown.
Yeah. I think there's
Life lessons.
a big part of it, at least for me as well, is like I'm not afraid to look bad or look like a fool. So when a new challenge is presented to me, or I'm in a situation where I have to do something that I've not really done before, or I'm not going to be good at, like I don't mind looking bad or not being good at something. I don't like it, but I'm not afraid to not be good at it. And I think this is something which a lot of people might have this barrier when it comes to doing something. Maybe if it's just even going to the gym, right? They're not happy with the way they look. Maybe they're not strong. They're not comfortable just showing themselves inside of the gym itself. And it could be something that they're embarrassed about and they don't want people to make fun of them. And that's one of the things that is putting them off from going in the first place. When I think if they actually understand, when it gets to the point where you get better at something and you're more confident in the way you look, it just naturally becomes way more enjoyable. Anything in life, if you get better at it, it gets way more fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you go skiing. Like I remember the first time I went skiing, it was so frustrating because there was a particular way I wanted to go down the mountain, but I couldn't do it because I wasn't good. So I just spent most of my time just falling over on my ass repeatedly.
Mm-hmm.
But after getting that out of the way and practicing and getting better, then I was able to meander down the mountain in a way that I wanted to, and all of a sudden the whole experience just improved massively. But I had to go through that period of sucking before I actually got good at it.
Yeah. So Mike had to get out of the way here
Mm-hmm.
and just be free, getting into that free space to be able to. It's not about what we look like. It's not about what others think about us. It's about us expanding our growth and just being free from the inside out, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how we get growth, is being, you know, stop trying to be perfect, right? Like when I see those human beings, they're so perfect. I'm like, come on, man. You didn't, life isn't perfect. Let's keep it real, right? We
Yeah.
we all have great challenges, and we have to be willing to go to those places to strip the perfectness away. And we cry and we suffer and we sometimes we don't have things and this and this. And this is where our strength lies.
Mm-hmm. It's
Mhm.
funny you talking about the running. Like I think back to when I actually do a 5K for the first time in a long time when I've not really worked on my cardio. It's hard. Like I'm out of breath and I'm struggling, and it sucks. But I
Mhm.
remember I did this in January last year when I made it my mission to do it like at least once a week. When I was following a hybrid split, every time that I would do the 5K, it would just get way easier. Like my body adapt to it a lot more. Like I was in
Mhm.
way more of my stride. My breath work was a lot better. I was just a lot fitter.
What how did you decide to do that 5K? Like tell me about like your workout regime. What got you even into working out and leading up to the whole 5K, like
I think for me, there was definitely this trend where I noticed more people were running. I think you've probably seen it as well. Like on social media, like there's the appearance of all these run clubs. It's just getting more popular. Probably because it's one of those things that anybody can do. It's very much a community thing that you can do with a group of people and you can support each other. And it's just like it became more of a trendy thing to do. So I wanted to tap into that, but also at the same time just work on my endurance. So I just set myself an easy target, seemed like an easy target, where once a week I would make sure that I would just do the 5K. And as I said, the first one sucked because just my endurance was not very good. And it was funny because after doing that, my calves were so sore for like 4 days, like the worst calf DOMs I've ever had, just because of the way that you're moving your body and taking those steps repeatedly. So then I did that for a couple of weeks. It went well, but then I ended up pulling away from it a little bit because I noticed my legs were getting smaller.
Okay.
So yeah, that was the way I
You
kind of.
Mike, I remember when I was coming up and I wanted to turn pro as a bodybuilder, and I had no blueprint. I had no one around me, and it was like, how do you do it? And I remember I saw Eddie Robinson, and when I saw him, I had so many questions for him because I was this kid, in Maryland, and I had a dream, but I didn't know if it was obtainable. So when I saw him, I just had so many. How do I get there? How do tell me, looking at you, right? Your book at Perfect Health over in Dubai, uh, looking like a model, perfect height, perfect. Like this, I mean, there's kids out there, young men out there, like want to be like you, want to be like you, Mike. Like when I see him, like, well, you just appear like, bam, okay.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit, or me. Where did you come from? What is your struggles?
Yeah.
How did you become getting the platform? If you don't mind breaking that down for us and for me, um, I just want to know because it's interesting what you're doing now, but what are the steps?
Yeah.
Did you have the struggles? Where did the ideas come from? Take us on that little journey, man.
Okay. So I think, I guess the best picture that you could get of what I was like 11 years ago, 10, 11 years ago, you'd have to go back to my oldest YouTube videos, right? So you'll see a very different me. Physique looks okay. But even just like the way that I looked, my facial appearance, the way that I would carry myself on camera, the charisma, the confidence, it definitely wasn't there.
All right, but Mike, how did you even make it to the YouTube videos? Where were you before that stuff?
I was just a personal trainer. I was a coach, personal trainer in Newcastle, just coaching people on a day-to-day basis. Largely, there was no YouTube presence for a long period of time.
Okay, so what inspired you to be? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but what inspired you to be a personal trainer? Where were you before that, and what inspired you to decide to become a personal trainer? How old were you?
So I was 22, I think 22, 23. Before that, I was a manager at a clothing store called Hollister, so the sister company to Abercrombie and Fitch. So I was working this dead-end job. Was in no control of how the business would operate. I was just getting orders from superiors. I could not choose when I worked. I was on a set schedule. Salary was fixed. And to be honest with you, the most frustrating thing that I was not able to go to the gym when I wanted to go to the gym. So I was trying to weigh up my options, like what do I want from life? What do I like to do? I didn't get a very good degree because I've kind of fucked up at university because I didn't study hard enough. So I thought about my options. I couldn't apply to work for a big company because other people with better degrees had the advantage. So at that age, it became clear to me that the thing I enjoyed doing the most was just going to the gym, being in the gym. Is there any way for me to make money just doing the thing that I love to do? My housemate at the time had just become a personal trainer. He told me what he had to do and how he was now making money just coaching people. And I was like, hey, that sounds a lot better than what I'm doing right now, so let me see how that is. So I transitioned.
You're what, 27 years old,
No,
24, 22?
23.
Okay.
Yeah. So obviously it's quite hard to try and bag yourself a load of clients because you're a young guy. I mean, how much knowledge does a 23-year-old have when it comes to coaching and getting other people in shape? So it was slow to pick up clients, but I was able to, through word of mouth and just obviously seemed to do a good job of making it enjoyable for my clients. And then on top of that, I had a good physique. So I'd already been training since I was 17. So I had a physique that stood out, and Instagram back in the day was a thing. So I'd had a couple followers on Instagram, but at the time there was no online coaching. So I was only able to get the people who were in my local area. So I did that for a couple of years. I guess you'd say I kind of perfected the craft when it came to coaching, just from the sheer amount of clients I had on a day-to-day basis. And then I realized, hey, like a lot of these conversations and people I'm helping, it's only a one-to-one thing. Like I could be having these conversations that thousands of people could listen to, or this advice. There must be a way where I can help more people than just one, because it's very demanding and taxing to have to do that every hour with a different person. You know, after you've done that 4 or 5 times, like I had no energy to do anything else. Like I'd given everything to each client to try and help them out. So I thought, hang on, well, maybe it's at the point now where maybe I feel like I'm not fully confident in everything I should know, but I think I know enough now where I can talk about it, the topic of getting in shape, building muscle, doing these exercises. So I picked up a camera and I would wait until the gym was empty, and then I would talk to the camera because I was really shy, hated being on camera, like just hated it. So the fact that I did it in an empty gym, tripod, just me, I would look down the lens as if I was talking to one of my clients. And because obviously I felt confident talking about what it was that I was talking about, I came across like, you know, okay, this guy seems to know what he's doing. And because I was not, you know, so some people like to shout down at the camera and be like, you need to do this, you need to do that. I was quite chill, quite calm, try to break down potentially complex topics quite simply so that the basic person could just understand. And then I started doing that, had a goal for myself to put up a video like at least once a week, maybe sometimes twice a week. And then it got to the point where after a couple of months of doing it, the videos started to pop off. And I was like, okay, this is the thing I'm supposed to do.
You know, you didn't try to copy after anyone.
No.
You weren't trying to be a hardcore bodybuilder, even though that was probably around you. And you found your passion because you stayed true to who you were. You weren't trying to copy after anyone.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man. And how long were you a personal trainer before you decided to make that first video?
The first video went out in 2016, so I was doing that for at least 3 years. I'll tell you what, I regret I did not start sooner. I really do, because it's like there's no existence of my life video-wise before that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, why? There just was not the videos on the camera. There was no videos on camera. You had to go and buy a specific camera to film a video. And so I like, even when I would try and talk about my transformation from a 17-year-old, I'm like really scrambling for footage, and it's like going through Facebook pictures to try and see this process. So I wish I'd started sooner. I did like 2 competitions, which I didn't document because I was too scared to talk to the camera. And yeah, I feel like even somebody who is not necessarily the type of person who wants to go down the route of doing the social media thing, I think even just documenting your life just for your own private reflection, I think one day it'll be great for you to look back at it and be like, hey, look where I came from and look at this progress. I mean, a lot of people probably watching this are entrepreneurs. You start documenting the start of your entrepreneurial journey, you'll be pretty damn happy that you had that footage of you in your office. Like imagine, you know, Jeff Bezos, he's got that footage of him in his first Amazon office. Like that's powerful. Like imagine if you didn't film that.
I remember watching the video of him. He's riding around in a Honda.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like, what I need another car for? This gets me where I need to be. And it was a Honda. And he was already like almost he was a multi-millionaire, but almost a billionaire. But that is very powerful, man. Now that's the same channel you have now?
What? Speaking on camera?
No, the channel, YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah. So
That's the birth of everything.
yeah, that the main channel that we're on now, that was the birth of everything. Now we
Yeah.
got like
See,
3 other channels now.
yeah. See, people, they see your success, but they don't see the suffering and the challenges and everything. And when you made that first video, do you still have that first video up?
Yeah, I think the very very first one I took off because it was so embarrassing. But there's the old videos are still there. Yeah.
You know what, Michael? You should do a recap of that,
Yeah.
right? Really,
Yeah.
because people see us here, but it's that journey where we were here that is the most effective to their lives. Like, we're normal human beings. We cry. It was a period where we didn't have money to pay. I was rolling up pennies for gasoline, bro, trying to make it to the gym, right? Because I didn't have any money. I stopped working for a whole year. I wanted to be a pro so bad. I saved up my money for about 2 or 3 years, and I didn't work for like 2 years. And I was down to like rolling up pennies for gasoline to make it to the nationals, just to compete,
Mm.
And it was like I had no choice, and I went all in, and I had to win. Like, unless go to those places, they're like, wow, those humble beginnings, man.
Yeah.
You should do a collaboration of your start, like, really, and post that. It's great to see me and Dorian and all these great legends on your page now, but I think what's so powerful is our journey,
Yeah.
the beginning.
Yeah.
For those kids out there that want to be like you and want to be like me, and we need to be able to say, hey, man, we were there. We were you at one time.
Yeah. What would you say was the hardest thing that you had to go through? I mean, I'd probably say the loss of family members was probably up there, but was there anything else that stood out to you when it came to like building your physique or the competition?
Mike, I mean, when I tore my chest, I mean, overcoming the fact that my father died, my mother died 2 years before I turned pro, getting second winning my nationals, finally getting paid to where I didn't have to do construction work no more. And then that same year, I mean, I went to the Olympia and I got second, and I came home and I blew my whole chest out, and that was a great challenge because I seems like I was just like on my way. And then that devastating injury happened to me. And the most challenging moment was that injury because no bodybuilder had ever came back from that injury. There was nobody to teach me how to come back from it. There was no father to talk to. There was nobody to say, hey man, everything's going to be okay because I've done it. I went through it, made it through it, and you're going to do it. I was just left alone. And I think that was the most challenging moments because prior to all that, so many things had just threw curveballs to my life to where I was like, when is it ever going to end? When is life going to feel like it's worth living?
Mm-hmm.
And it was tough. That was the toughest moment because they started calling me fly by night. No bodybuilder had never came back. And I just knew that was the lowest. That was the lowest of anything that probably could happen. But
the weirdest thing, like those things tend to come all at once. Life can be going okay, and sometimes when life is going too good, I'm like, right, what's gonna happen? Something's gonna happen soon because this is too good, and then it'll come,
Yeah.
and then something else will come, and then maybe on the same day it'll be like bam, 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 and you just. I mean, fortunately, I'm at a point now where I can laugh a lot of these things off. Like, I just laugh at the ridiculousness of the situation. Like, is this even for real? But some people, like, obviously, it depends on how extreme some of these things are, these curveballs.
Yes, things can be devastating. I mean, it was completely devastating. And that was a devastating part of my life. But also, I was able to take those method memories of the torture and the all that things that would break a person
Yeah.
down and somewhat take that and turn it into fuel and fire and just revenge. Like I just was like, you know what? If it's up to me, it's going to be. That's when I realized I didn't need anybody. I was like, you know what? If I let this kill me, I'll never be anything in life and I'll just be a loser. Or I could take all of these things that we're enduring, all the shit that happened, whether it's the good with the bad and the everything that someone is suppressed with life, whether it's a bad relationship, whether it's bad parenting, whether you're just mentally um, tortured or just
Mm.
that situation, challenging moments.
I could see it in your eyes. I watched some of the old footage of you training because the
It
physique was crazy, and like your eyes, like
yeah.
you were
When I'm
there
thinking,
was
it's
anger,
like,
there was real anger in there.
yeah, I'm at my dad's funeral, right? I'm hearing the teacher, Miss Jenkins, tell me, Lavergne, you're never going to amount to anything. I hear my mother's last words. I hear all those cries, that stuff that would take out an average human being to make you say, you know what, I don't feel like living anymore.
Yeah.
I want to just end this life to get rid of the pain. Like we turn that pain. I think somehow I ended up turning that pain into victory, and it's okay.
Hmm.
So if there's a human being out there, Mike, and you've been through it too, you've been through
Yeah.
it too, with your mom and everything. They're listening. Like we've all been through it. Don't quit, and that's why I say don't give up. Always believe in yourself because in time it'll all make sense, and you will grow and be stronger. For the girls out there that's been abused from the dads, from the boys out there that's been abused from the dads, and the dad said you'll never mount up to anything. From the teachers and it's the bullying in school, and just if you come from an adopted family and you feel like you're an outcast in life and you just don't fit in somewhere, you do fit in. Like you are somebody special and you are great. And no matter what's going on in the workplace or that situation in that environment, you can change that as long as you believe in yourself. You can come out of it. And I didn't have anybody I didn't have a father, I didn't have a mother, I didn't have any older brother to even tell me, hey, we're going to make it through this situation. Like that's why I know when you're in those lowest moments in your life, you can gain strength in those moments. Embrace those moments and just believe that you can come out of it. If you just don't quit and never give up,
Mm.
you can make a difference in your life. And that's what happened with me. And I know that's what happened with you. You have your challenges that you went through. And there's people going through those challenges right now, man. And they're looking at us saying, how'd you get there? It's embracing those moments and being able to also express and say, we were never perfect. I'm not trying to still be perfect. I don't want to be perfect. I just want to be real. And when you're real and living in that pain and that realness, that's where you gain your strength.
Yeah. And there really
Yeah.
is an art to channeling that energy, particularly the negative energy. Like I've had some people who would speak to me and they're like, I'm just not, I'm not feeling myself. My girlfriend left me, or I've lost a loved one, and I'm because of that I've not gone to the gym. I'm like, wait, so you're telling me this has happened to you, and you don't even want to go to the gym? Like you've stopped going to the gym because this has happened? Like that is the perfect opportunity where you can really be pissed off with the world and channel that negativity to having some amazing workouts. Like some of the best workouts I've had have been when I've come out of a relationship or I've been
Yeah.
heartbroken. Like it's there's been those points where you can't even stop thinking about the person because it's you were in love with them. It didn't end the way you want it to. Maybe they were the ones that broke up with you, and your life was a mess. Like that can be the fuel to completely transforming your physique. And I don't know how some people don't use that to their advantage. Like
Has that been your fuel?
it has been at times, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that whenever I've gone through those particular hardships or moments where I've been low, it's never made me not want to go to the gym and train. If anything, like that is the training and the pushing myself, almost the punishing myself, is the solution to it. Of course, there's the extremes. You don't want to take it too far where you literally destroy yourself. But that's been a fuel for me to being the best version that I can be. Not only with the way that I look, but doing those extra cardio sessions that I don't want to do. Like I'm fired up, like seriously fired up. And I don't get how certain people in life don't get fired up by, maybe things not going their way or, them just eating shit.
What's been your greatest challenge?
That's a good question. I do get asked this a lot. I mean, losing a parent, obviously, that would be up there at a young age, at 11. But I think more so recent times, I think is just coming out of my shell. Because I think I'm naturally more of an introverted person who, I had friends, but I was always the quietest guy in the group. I would just kind of sit there and I would say a few things, but it would only be on a one-to-one basis where you'd get me to open up. So whenever there was this scenario where I'd have to do public speaking or speak to a group or speak on camera, I was so petrified of it. And even going on dates or speaking to strangers, I never really felt like I was anything special. I just was a very normal guy who had nothing really to talk about. And I hated that. I wanted to become something. I wanted to feel more confident and be more comfortable and just be. I saw the person that I wanted to be, but I was in a shell and I couldn't get out of the shell. So I had to break out of the shell and develop my personality, charisma, confidence, and get to this person that I knew I could be. But there were so many limiting factors that I knew that if I didn't work on them, I was never really going to amount to anything, because I would put off the things I know that I would need to do because I'm scared of doing it. So I had to just face my fear.
How did you work on that? What was the turning point for you to break out of the shell? Did you seek counseling, or you woke up one day and said, I'm just going to do what I want to do?
I think I think there was moments, particularly in my mid-20s, where I was just fed up of the life that I was living, and I'm like, I can't continue to repeat this because I'm not happy, and this is definitely not where I want to be. So something needs to change. And I think I saw the social media and the YouTube as a little bit of an escape, because at least if there was a way for me to make money online, to build up a bit of an audience and just continue to do the thing which I like to do and can do it anywhere in the world, that will hopefully help. But I think for sure, just speaking on camera, speaking in front of audiences, just doing the thing that scares you. It will be horrible the first time you do it, but then the following few times after that, it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, well, I've done this before, so I can do it again.
Do you have moments, Mike? Do you have any regrets? Do you ever have sad moments? Do you ever cry about things that affect you and stuff? Like, how do you? Because looking at you, it seems like you have a perfect life.
Yeah.
Like, do you ever get down sometimes and have moments where, if there was something to change about your life, you just,
there will be days when I'm low, but I know it's a temporary thing, and the reason that I'm feeling low, it could be I just slept terribly, but it's usually because there's something that I know deep down I should be doing that I'm not doing, or that there's something in my life that needs to improve, but I'm avoiding something, and this avoidance of doing something builds up inside of me and frustrates me, and usually it's a case of just doing the thing I know I need to do. If I just go and fucking do it, then I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I feel good again. That tends to be like quite a frequent thing where I know that it's not necessarily me being sad, but just being frustrated with not doing something that I know I should do. It's very rare that I'll cry. It can happen sometimes. I mean, even sometimes if I watch a powerful film or something, it can trigger emotions. But I think I've very much got to the point where I think I probably suppress my emotions more than I should do. Maybe not the healthiest thing to do, but that's how I've grown up and dealt with the world. I know a lot of the time there's not really anyone that's going to come and help me if I cry. So just get on with it. My dad was a great role model because I never saw him cry or complain. And he went through his fair share of hardships, arguably more than me, and I witnessed it. And he was always very strong and never complained, never cried, or at least in front of me. So I just thought that any hardship I was going through, I was like, well.
That programs you not to cry.
Yeah.
You know, I was at my mother's, my father's funeral when I was 10 years old. I remember looking up at my mother like this, and my dad sitting there in front of us in a casket. My question to her was, I said, Mama, why are you not crying? I just didn't understand it. You know, and that really, when she didn't cry, I think at that moment I was really, my emotions and my feelings got suppressed like crazy. It's like, even now to this day, anything emotional, I just want to run away from it, you know.
Yeah.
And we all have our things.
There's a lot of people who say that's not the healthiest way to deal with it, but
not the healthiest way, but our lives is a blueprint of what we become, you know, and how we think and endure things. And I wish I could just get up and run and be. When I see people just so happy all the time, I'm like, God, I wish I could be like that. You know?
Yeah.
But if I was that happy guy, nobody in the world would know who Kevin Levrone is. So it takes some of this, some of that, for the world to be a collective place of all of us. Embrace who we are and love every moment and situation.
Yeah.
I don't have any regrets. Do you have any regrets?
I think the only regrets that I have is not making decisions sooner. Like I'm happy with my life the way it's turned out. If I would have changed anything, I would have just made decisions sooner. Like there was a few times where I've thought like, I need to do this, but I didn't. I procrastinated and prolonged things that I didn't need to prolong for so long. I could have very quickly just made my moves quicker and got to the destination sooner, so that even maybe at this point in time I'd be even further ahead because I'd sped up the process of the decision making. Maybe that's like a potential regret that I've had at this point in my life. I'm very interested to know what the 45-year-old, 50-year-old Mike thinks of me right now. Because I a lot of the time I think I'm right. Like, oh no, I'm doing the right thing. But I know, like, I would probably watch back at some conversations I have and just be like, oh, you fool. You silly boy. I don't know.
Hey, you had to go through those things to get to this place. So,
yeah.
It's whatever happens, it made you who you are today, right? So you're at a perfect place right now. No matter, I'm at a perfect place too. So and this whole thing is for the audience out there listening, is that this is the things that we think about on a daily basis when we wake up. We take these into our working. We take these into the nutritional program, right? And we're able to sacrifice and to bring all those hardships and challenges into the nutrition. If somebody says to Kevin, you have to eat fish for 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 12 weeks. Okay, no problem. If you have to go and zero carbs for 6 weeks, okay, no problem. Roll fish up and lettuce, and I'll eat it for 6 weeks, and I'll just drink water. So it's like you take those moments where you're life is just beating the crap out of you, and you go into method mode and you take those and you put it into, what do I want my goal to be? And if I can go through that, I can make it happen anyway. All I got to do is apply myself. So guys, just apply yourself. Take your life journey and all of that. Wrap it up and just apply it to whatever it is you want to accomplish.
Yeah.
Lawyer, doctor, bodybuilder, whatever, losing weight, whatever. Just because that's what we've done.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of people that I would imagine that are watching my content, particularly the fitness stuff. They don't necessarily have the aspirations of being a bodybuilder and a competitor. They just want to look good and feel good. And I'm trying to think like I'm trying to put out so much content to help people, but there's something missing. And usually it tends to be this art of consistency and self-discipline where you continue to do the things you need to do every week. And then on top of that, I think a lot of people, they'll probably look at us and just be like, well, that's not attainable. Like, I cannot achieve that. They've already decided for themselves what can't be achieved. So they'll only, like, they're happy to just accept mediocre. And now, of course, there are going to be some people who are just won the genetic lottery, and they're going to look a certain way, and they don't even need to work really that hard. Like, they're just going to look good. Other people have to work harder. But still, I don't think people have that self-belief where if they really just applied themselves and tried and kept doing it, they could look the way they want to look. And then if they're happy with the way they look, that transfers to all other areas in their life.
Well, then that's where guys like you come in, right?
But then
Because
people look at me and they're like, oh yeah, but it's easy for you. Like,
no, but see, Mike, they'll say that because they don't know your journey, right? They don't know the journey of the beginning, you know, and open that up and share that with them. And it's like you have a platform now to where you are helping people, and you know, you're the teacher, you're the professor. A lot of people want to be successful, lawyers, doctors, or whatever. They got to go to school and they have to check in class, right? So they just can't do it on their own. And you certainly have a platform to where, you know, they can check in, right? They check in with you, I have my own platform, you have your platform, but they check in, and we keep them motivated. We say, hey, guess what? Bad times don't last forever. As long as you never quit and never give up, you'll get there, you know, because we've been through it. This is just something that's just social media generated through, you know, today's time. I mean, there's a 20-year history, 30-year history, right?
yeah.
So it's different. It's who we are. We've been through it, so we can talk about it. And it's coming from that real place. And, you know, guys, I mean, we've made it. We've been through it. It can happen. And we're living proof, you know, and you're not alone. I know you feel like you're alone, but today's platform is just incredible because you can draw from inspiration out there all over the world just like that,
Yeah.
you know. Hey, look, man, I'm happy that you do have this platform. I'm happy that you allowed me to come on it and to express who I am on your platform. To your audience, it's not only it's helping me just being able to talk about it because I feel like this is therapy for me too,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And bodybuilders, my audience is hardcore bodybuilders. This is, hey, how much food do you eat? How many sets do you know, how much can you bench press? How big are your arms? This stuff is cool, but
Knowing you've been having it for 30 years.
not really who I am, man. It's like so much deeper going on with me. But your platform has definitely gave me that therapeutic moment
Yeah.
to say, hey, you know,
But I tell you what, though,
there's
like,
a man behind the muscle.
you have the potential to have this massive channel on YouTube. I know you already have a YouTube channel, but remember I said I wanted you to get it up and running. And you know how many people
Yeah.
would watch it because you're so good at talking and
Yeah.
you know getting deep with people, which is what you know a lot of men and women. I think a lot of guys would benefit from it as well.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
you've been a
gonna
help.
keep chasing you up on this year.
I know you are. Thank you for inspiring me with that situation.
I think
Awesome.
everyone watching, I think, would love to hear more from you. I know probably a lot of them are already following you on Instagram, but I
Yeah,
mean,
thanks, Mike.
yeah, this is it's been a pleasure, and like you said, it's also been a therapy for me. So, yeah,
Yeah, man.
I'm saying things I've not even said before, so it's cool.
Well, you're interesting. Your success is very interesting. It's like, and I feel if I'm thinking like, well, how did he get there? I know they're thinking too. I want to be like him. How do you give me us the directions to be successful? That's what it is. Everybody's listening because they want to have a better life, right? And they want to somewhat they are inspired by us, right? And we just got to break it down. Say, hey, we were in your shoes one day, and this is what we did, and we endured all the pain and suffering, and it made us who we are today, right? So
Hmm.
that's success. Success is I'm not going to say failures, but it's the enduring the pain turned inside out from here inside out. Like that's success. That's what drove me. Certainly drove me to the gym every single day. Thinking about those moments where I felt like quitting and giving up every single set and rep that I wanted to give up on. I just continued to push. I didn't care if I was suffering or I was hungry. I wouldn't eat no food. I would just endure the pain and suffering, and that's what
Mm.
where I found my strength. It's
I,
going through those dark moments.
I had a question for you, which I don't think I asked before. Now, there's footage out there of you training back in the day when you were like at your peak. Do you wish that there was more of that footage? Like, do you wish there was no?
Yeah.
Because it was like a dark time you don't really want to capture.
Yeah. I never really wanted to open my life up to the world. It's none of their business, like
Yeah,
you expose yourself 100%, you lose your strength. Like the world doesn't need to know everything about
yeah,
me.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
Everything doesn't need to be exposed, right?
Yeah, yeah. If you when you have a platform, you also have a choice as to what you share with people, and I definitely don't think you should share every aspect of your life. There's certain things that need to be kept private, and you need that for your own sanity.
That's where we gain our strength.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah, man.
thank you, Kev. I appreciate that
It's
for
my
giving up your morning. This has been great conversation for me. I hope everybody else has also enjoyed it. And
thank you, man, for having me.
where's next for you? Next couple of months?
Mexico. This is the Uncrowned King Tour 2026, Rise Above. So um, it's going to be a busy schedule this year with some very special announcements coming up, and a life turning, just elevating it to another level. Looking forward to running mini marathons. Doing some crazy stuff, man. So, brain stimulating and just being motivated and that's it, man. So,
Yeah.
thank you, Mike, for inspiring me, man. And thank you for having me on here.
No worries, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. See you, bro.
Peace, brother. Bye-bye.
God, that was good. What a guy. In terms of bodybuilders that have a whole lot of depth to them, he's a fucking deep guy. So if you catch him on tour, if he's in your country or city, go see him. And you know what? I'm going to make it my mission to get him to document it. Like he goes all over the world to all these really cool places, meets all these amazing people, has all these crazy conversations. It's not captured. It needs to be captured. Like the message needs to be spread with his audience and a new audience who don't already know who he is. So yeah, guys, we're going to have this again tomorrow with Ben Pakulski. Don't know if it's going to get as deep, but he's an extremely intelligent guy. And then, of course, with the, I want to have these calls weekly. Very powerful. Hopefully they can be life-changing for you guys. They certainly are for me. As I said, it's like a therapy session. So for the next 12 weeks, I'm going to have a lineup of very, very interesting guests. So if you want to be part of conversations like that, check it out, sign up. And upgrade your package if you already have a subscription to the Thirst app.
Link is pinned in the chat.
The link is pinned in the chat. I can't see the chat because I'm just looking at a completely different screen. So I think I'm going to wrap it up there, to be honest. It's been 2 hours of yapping. It's 11 p.m. in Dubai. Anybody who has missed the beginning or earlier parts of the conversation with Kevin, I think we're going to make this available for... Oh, what a time to finish, guys. The firework display. Apparently I wasn't live. Everyone was like, oh, you haven't, this is just a pre-recorded thing. You're not live today. It's 11 p.m. in Dubai, and the fireworks are kicking off. So I think it's a perfect time to end it. Get rid of this friggin' light. Pretty sick. Just your daily firework display in Dubai. Does it look good on the, yeah, you can see it. Madness. Good stuff. Thank you guys for tuning in. I don't know how many people are still left, but that was a great 2 hours. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow I think we're starting an hour later because of Ben's availability. But I think because it's Sunday evening here, it'll be daytime for people in America, early evening for people in the UK. So everybody should be able to make it. So more good stuff coming. And look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow.